Okay, now, give me your attention. Stay with me. And I'm going to share some things with you. I want to thank Joni Schultz for the help and the encouragement. She's into this stuff, but she's been a real help with books. Sometimes she comes and brings me books to loan me. She never gets them back, or some of them we've sold and all this stuff. Yeah, one time she brought some books, and I was looking for books to put in the store. And I said, well, this looks good. I'll put this. And Joni went and bought it. And she bought the book back that she gave me, But many of them are not for sale and have been tremendous help. Okay, this is the story. So let me share it with you. And why is it so important? I have a couple of things I'll hand out to you. I don't know if I have enough for everybody. Why is it so important to you? What we're looking for is the second coming of Jesus. Okay. Jesus, and if there was such an entity, it wasn't named Jesus. Jesus is a Greek word. Jesus is a word that was constructed out of Greek mythology. And the reason the word Jesus was decided on or defined was because each letter in Greek, as each letter in Hebrew, carries a numerical value. In Greek, the Greek letters of the word Jesus carry the numerical value 888, which equals the sun. That's what it is in Greek. He's the sun, which is a star. He is the sun star. As you know, in Revelation 3, verse 14, he refers to himself as the Amen. Amen Ra is the name of the Egyptian sun god. In the course of the stories, he refers to himself as the bridegroom. In Psalm 19, the bridegroom is identified as the sun. In also the scriptures, when he is crucified, he goes through the cross, there is an eclipse. There is darkness on the face of the earth because the sun dies. The reason that this occurs is because the sun enters a constellation called the Cross on December the 21st. It is the darkest day of the year. This entire thing, the entire story, is astronomically based. Born of a virgin, Virgo, in September, crucified the shortest day of the year, December 21st, in the bowels of the earth, December 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, which is the winter solstice, reborn on December the 25th. 30 years in the story after he's born, he goes into the waterman, John the Baptist. 30 days after the sun is born on December the 25th, it enters the constellation of the waterman Aquarius. He goes on from Aquarius, and he selects his disciples from the fishermen. The sun moves out of Aquarius into the constellation Pisces, the fish. He becomes the Lamb of God that takes away the sins of the world. The sun enters the constellation Aries, the Lamb which takes away the cold of the winter. We reach Passover. And then, of course, he finishes his journey as the Lion of Judah, and the sun concludes its journey in August as Leo, the King of Kings, the King of the Beast, and so forth, the Lion. So the whole story is built around astrology, and that's why when he's discovered in Palestine or he's discovered in Bethlehem, who finds them? The Magi. Who are they? They're from the tribe of Magi, which is of Zoroaster of Iran. It is the root of the word magician. They are astrologers. Obviously, if you're going to write a story, who would you have find the sun star? You would have astrologers, and that's the way the story comes out. All right. Understanding that Jesus is the sun star, there is only one. There is one sun. There is one sun, which is a star. And there is one earth or planet orbiting that sun. And this is Jesus, who would be the sun star. So the great promise in the Bible, is, and I'd like you, if you have one, to open up to 1013, page 1013, and see the great promise of the Bible, which is actually the second coming of the Christ, which is the second coming of the sun star. It's in Revelation chapter 19, and you'll see it there, and it's verse 11. Okay, 10:13. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. All right, so what is being said here is that the second coming of Jesus will be the second coming of a sun star. In other words, you would have to wait to see a star that is like the star that we have in our galaxy here, which is our sun. But it will come at the point of the white horse. Now, several months ago, there was this tremendous discovery in Switzerland of some Swiss astronomers, which was then documented and verified by astronomers in the United States. They discovered a sun star, just like the one we have. And there was a planet orbiting this sun star, just like the one we have. And the amazing thing was, they said that the sun star discovered was a duplicate of ours. For the first time in the history of the world, it has never happened before, there was a sun star. This was the second coming of the sun star. And where was it? In the constellation Pegasus. Behold, heavens open, and I saw a white horse. And so here then, this second coming of the sun star, or the second coming of Jesus, which actually is what Jesus is, appears right where the Bible said it would, in the sign of the white horse, which is Pegasus. In fact, at the bridle of the horse. And then the astronomers went on to say, because when you read this, it talks later in about the white horse, that there was thousands of others on white horses following the one on the white horse. And the scientists said, and we have articles, that there are thousands of stars milling around here in a globular cluster, and they're approaching Earth, which are the light beings that we'll talk about later. And it says in there that they seem to be under the control of one giant central object. And it says that also that the sun star, or the stars that are, what was I just ran, I lost my train of thought, forget what I was going to say. Okay, so anyhow, so we're looking at these thousands of stars which duplicate the revelation. We're looking about the second coming of the sun star. The importance of this is, I don't know how old you are, I don't know where you live, I don't know what you do, but what I'm telling you is this: the first time in the history of the world that a prophecy has ever been scientifically proved of something that's been said in the Bible has occurred in the constellation Pegasus, which is the sign of the white horse. It is a star which duplicates our sun, and it is the second coming of the sun star. It is the second coming of Jesus. That's the first sign. All right? Now, let's take a look at a couple of the stars in Pegasus. First of all, the word Pegasus means, Pega means chief, and sus means horse, and it also means swiftly coming. And folks, you don't know how swiftly. I mean, it is so swift that even the scientists themselves on television the other night were saying, we never dreamed it would be this fast. And they don't even realize the implications of this. The other stars are Markab, and Markab means returning from afar. Okay. The other star is Sheat, S-H-E-A-T, and Sheat means one who goes and returns. These are Arabic names of these stars. And the third star is Inif, E-N-I-F, which means the branch. So this is an exceptional thing. I mean, I don't know if you can read books, you can study scriptures, you can be in Old Age, New Age, you can be in Hindu, you can be in Buddhism, and all of this kind of stuff. What I'm talking about is something that you can look at with a pair of binoculars that has happened for the very first time in the history of the world, and it is right smack where the book of Revelation said it would be, at the bridle of the horse Pegasus. Now, Joni went out, put together a beautiful flyer, which you see. We set up 4 weeks that we're going to do lectures about Pegasus in February. We're starting the week after next. And, you know, I'm doing Pegasus the sign, Pegasus the horse, Pegasus the truth, Pegasus and all. And I thought, well, you know, we'll get this and we'll learn this. But I didn't have time even to think about what we were going to talk about in the lectures on Pegasus when pow, pow, it comes on television day before yesterday. The scientists have discovered 2 more stars with planets orbiting around them. One in Virgo, the sign of the Virgin. And the other in Ursa Major. And I'll share just what this is. Now, here you have, what I have here is later when you're leaving, if you haven't seen this, the newspaper article, 2 new planets discovered orbiting distant stars. Astronomers had discovered 2 new planets, and at least one could have a warm, watery broth ideal for supporting the chemistry of life. Pretty soon, you're going to find one that's not 185 degrees, that's 85 degrees, and you'll know where our friends are coming from. One in the Virgin, he told a national meeting in which scientists can seriously address for the first time a real possibility of other worlds like the Earth existing around stars. We are at a watershed. So this is the dawning of a new field in science. These new planets offer a challenge to us. He doesn't really even know. He came 3 months after Swiss astronomers announced discovery of planet in orbit of the star 51 Pegasi. That Swiss discovery has been confirmed. The rapid-fire discovery of planets moves science closer to investigating directly the existence of life beyond the solar system. What has been left to the imagination is now going to be the subject of scientific inquiry, it said. All 3 stars hosting the new planets are within 40 light years of the Earth, and each is about the size of the Sun. The planet orbiting in Virgo is about 9 times larger than Jupiter, and so forth. He said the water on it would be like a nice, toasty, warm bath or a broth that possibly could permit formation of complex organic molecules that led to life on Earth. And then he says, we are truly in the dawn of a new era, said Alan Boss of the Carnegie Institute of Washington. So, there's the first sign. And Pegasus has happened faster than we could get Joni to put together a newspaper article and start talking about it. 2 more have happened. First time in the history of the world. It's never happened before. And the prophecies are being fulfilled here. So you understand Pegasus. And that's where the first one went. And that's the sign. Because what is happening and what is going on is this entity we call God is speaking in the stars to you. Because God is not a Christian, God is not a Jew, God is not a Buddhist or a Hindu or any of this other stuff. God speaks to the entire universe. That's why the message is in the stars, just like everything in the Bible was in the stars. The Bible quoted from the stars. The entire Bible is a book of astrology. That's why the sun star is discovered by astrologers. See? So God is speaking in the stars, and everybody's walking around, hasn't the slightest idea, and they're all in church dabbling in their myths, and they're all in church dabbling in these stories, but they have no idea what's going on in the very lifeblood of the universe that they live in. And so now the statements are being made. So we understand that the sign is Pegasus. The second sun star which has been discovered, and where is it born? Of a virgin. Virgo. Born of a virgin. And look what it says. Go to page 583. Before you go to 583, go to page 1. That's easier to find. And on page 1, look what it says. It's Genesis chapter 1. And on Genesis chapter 1, look at verse 14. Let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens, that's the stars, to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs. Signs. In other words, if you want information, if you want to understand, if you want to do more than just run around on the earth like an ant building a hole somewhere, and you want to intellectually know what's going on with your life, what's going on with the universe, then you've got to understand what's put up into the heavens, in the stars. Let them be for signs. So that first one is a sign, and what does the sign of Pegasus mean? It says that this would be the return of the power. So the return of the power has occurred. It has happened on the white horse. The sun star has appeared in the white horse Pegasus so that you can understand the power has returned. All right? Now, the second thing is the power returns, and it will be fulfilled in what way? Page 583. And if you look at the book of Isaiah in page 583, you look at Isaiah chapter 7, and you'll see why the second sun star has appeared in the constellation Virgo. In Isaiah chapter 7 and verse 14, therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Let the stars be for signs. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, call his name Emmanuel, which means God with us. A virgin shall conceive. The second sun star ever found in the history of the world, the first one was Pegasus, it has returned. The second one is found in Virgo. The virgin has conceived. Don't you understand something? Who's finding all of this stuff? The astrologers, the astronomers. Who found Jesus? The Magi, the astrologers. It's happening all again, and it's happening right over your head. Right now. You don't have to go to church to believe this stuff. You don't have to read a Bible to believe this stuff. You can go to a planetarium. You can open the New York Times or any of these books. Let me tell you, here's a book written in 1966. I don't know whether you gave me this or somebody did. Whoever you did, it found its purpose today. It's a guy written by Joseph Godovich, the space-age scientist, 1966. And he says, and here, I don't know if this is true. That's not the point. He says, scientists are learning that there are super civilizations encompassing entire solar systems. At this writing, several of them are signaling to us from depths of interstellar space. Beacons of incredibly powerful artificial radio emissions are bombarding the entire gamut of Earth. One series of coded signals are being transmitted in all directions at once on a scale equivalent to thousands of megacycles. The regularly spaced emissions have been discovered in the direction of Aries and Pegasus. 1966. 1966. The stars in the Virgin. The biggest star is Al-Zamak. Well, then stand up so people can hear.
In this Isaiah, and it said that you'll bear a son. That's the renewed mind, right? The virgin will bear a son, right?
Yes, but that's the renewed mind, is consciousness in the part of our human frame as individuals. But there is also a son born to the universe. Everything is a microcosm and a macrocosm, okay? The microcosm is in the mind. The macrocosm is in the universe. The sun is in your head. The sun is in the sky. And they're both the same. And so the sun is crucified. The sun rises within you. It sits at the right hemisphere of the brain, and the sun in the universe rises and sits at the right hemisphere of the universe, and spring comes, summer comes, okay? So, yes. Al-Zamak means the branch. Remember the star in Pegasus that I told you? Meant the branch. Now, I want you to go to page 765, the book of Zechariah. Page 765, the book of Zechariah. And there, you'll look at Zechariah chapter 3. Zechariah chapter 3. Look at verse 8. Hear now, O Joshua the high priest, you and your fellows that sit before you, for you are men wondered at. For behold, I will bring forth my servant, the what? The branch. And do you notice it's in capital letters? The only words in the King James Bible that are in capital letters are the word branch. and it shows up in just about every constellation that's in the sky. Remember, in the constellation Virgo, the Virgin holds in her right hand the branch. Okay. There is a star, Zavij. Geez, well, these are Zavij Aveh, which means the beautiful. There is a star, Almuruddin, Almureddin, which means who shall come down. Now remember, in Pegasus the sign is swiftly coming, and here we have the sign who shall come down. It's coming down extremely swiftly. Okay? And there is also in Virgo the Virgin a decon, which is one of the 10 degrees, and a constellation, the star is called Coma, which means mother and child, the desired of all nations. Okay, so what we have then is the sign of the returning of the power has been seen in Pegasus. The sign that the power comes through the virgin consciousness has been seen in Virgo. It's been seen. The return, the message to you is that this Jesus entity has returned, and it is just like it was the first time around, the second coming. It is born of a virgin. And it is documented not by religion people, it is documented not by popes or bishops or priests or evangelists, it is documented just like it was documented 2,000 years ago by astrologers and astronomers, the Magi. Remember that. This is off limits to religious people because they can't handle this stuff. So you got to go outside and you got to use people to know what's going on. Okay, so we have the first is the sign that the power has returned. The second is the sign as to how the power is going to be fulfilled. And do not lose sight of the fact that the virgin means virgin mind, virgin consciousness. That's how it comes to display itself. Now the third star, which is seen, when I first saw it, I said to John, this is great. We went and we pulled the map out and I looked at it. That is great. It looks like it's in Leo because it's in Ursa Major, the Big Dipper. But then I looked and I found out it wasn't. Because I wanted it to be in Leo because then I would have the lion and the virgin, and I've got the riddle of the Sphinx. That's what the riddle of the Sphinx is, Virgo and Leo, the face of the virgin and the body of the lion. When you go into virgin consciousness and you continue in virgin consciousness, you wind up in Christ consciousness. You go from nothingness to the kingship. But anyhow, it wasn't. I said, oh, that's. Didn't come out the way I wanted it to. What am I going to do? Didn't come out the way I wanted it to. It shows up in Ursa Major. The big bear. But watch all of the neat stuff. The message is unbelievable. It is in the Big Dipper. The 7 brightest stars in Ursa Major, which is the big bear, the 7 brightest stars make up the Big Dipper. So you can see the Big Dipper. If there's one thing you can find in the sky is the Big Dipper. You're looking right at Ursa Major. You're looking at the big bear when you see the Big Dipper. Well, if you're laying down, you could see it like that. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. No. Okay. Okay. But now look. Where is it? It is in the Big Dipper. What do you use the dipper? To take from water from where? The pitcher. And who is carrying the pitcher? Aquarius! Yeah. you should start to feel little things running up your back. And it's not fleas either. Okay. Now, Ursa Major, the bear, is the bear. Now, in order to understand these things, you have to realize, why are they in the sky? Why is there a bear in the sky? Why is there a crab in the sky? Why is there, like tonight, Sagittarius? Why are these things up there? These things are placed there for a reason. And if you'll bear with me, let me tell you this. Let me interrupt this for a second. I am not going to get to the message that we planned for today. So who cares, right? Who cares? Because this is good stuff. These different animals and these different things are placed in the sky to tell a message. They convey a message to everybody in the world. Christians, non-Christians, Lutherans, Baptists, Hindus, Buddhists, Zoroastrians. It doesn't make it, because it has nothing to do with that. It's talking to people. And when you begin to understand all of this, you'll see. What do we have? The sign is the white horse. The power has returned through the virgin consciousness. Now let me tell you about Ursa Major. Ursa Major is the big bear. There is a story in an ancient myth, which even predates Greek mythology. You might want to write this name down because you can look it up. Artemis. Artemis. A-R-T-E-M-I-S. Artemis is the goddess virgin of the universe. And she is a virgin hunter. And all of her virgin consorts roam through the mountains, slaying the beasts. So now we don't get too lost. What is she? She is the virgin mind, which roams through the mountains of your mind, slaying the beasts, which are the thoughts which cause you disease and hurt. Okay? That's what she represents. She demands all of her followers are virgins. Artemis. She has a sister which is actually the same as her, and this woman is called Callisto. Callisto. And Callisto is part of the soul of Artemis. They're one and the same. But here's the story. Artemis demands that everyone, all of the women that are part of her party, be virgin. Zeus comes along and he sees this Callisto standing by whatever they stand by in those places. And he said, she is a pretty hot number. And he seduces this, oh my God, Zeus seduces Callisto and makes her pregnant. And she has a baby. Now he has an obligation to protect her from Artemis, which is actually one and the same. So Zeus goes into a deep trance, looks up into the sky. He makes Callisto a constellation. She becomes Ursa Major, the great bear. And right next to her is Ursa Minor, the little bear, her son. And so, actually, Callisto, as the mythologists of the day, Callisto and Artemis being the same one, that the great bear is actually Artemis. What is she? She is the celestial virgin goddess. She is the celestial goddess virgin of the heavens. And so the energy, but now look at what we have. Not only do we have the sign that is now here, but it is coming through the virgin mind. But what is coming through this virgin is the great power of the bear. The energy, the power, the force is coming through the bear, Ursa Major. In Greece 3,000 years ago, the girls who would take the vow to pledged themselves to be eternal virgins would annually have a celebration, and they would all dress in costume as bears to honor Artemis. I was looking up on the CD-ROM and Artemis. It says, in Greek mythology, the goddess of chastity, the young of all creatures, the moon. Incidentally, in Roman mythology, she is known as one that I'm sure you've heard of, Diana. What's that song? Oh, please stay with me. She's the twin sister. Now this is neat. This is why it's so important that she be one of the three where these sun stars have appeared. Artemis is the twin sister of Apollo, who is Jesus, the Son. Okay. And her temple, the temple of Artemis in Ephesus, is one of the 7 wonders of the world. And incidentally, talking about the number 7, the brightest stars in Ursa Major that make up the Big Dipper are 7. 7. Yes? I can't hear you.
Isn't the North Star in the Big
Yes.
Dipper?
Yes.
Okay. All of the stars in the sky circle around the North Star.
Well, yeah, it says in the mythology that Artemis looks down and pervades her total kingdom. She is the queen goddess, the virgin goddess. And that's why it's so important, you see, as this being the power and being born out of the virgin mind. So we have very, very interesting. Now, what I'm going to do, I don't know how many I've got, but would somebody just hand these out, and I'll show you another reason why it is so important to understand what is happening in front of your eyes. And I don't have enough for everybody, so that's what they always say in these places. So you can just share, okay? So now let's put down what we have. And remember what I told you, this is just the beginning. You haven't seen anything yet. This is why I want to alert you to this. You have the sign in Pegasus. That's the sign of the coming. You have the sign in Virgo, which is the Virgin. And you have the sign in Ursa Major, which is Virgin Power. All right? So we begin to understand. This is what's happening. And remember something as you're looking at this. Remember something. This has never happened before in the history of the world. This is the first time in the history of the world this has ever been seen. So, I mean, you know, if you want to fall asleep about this, what I am, you're at the beach, you're in the ocean, I'm the guy who said, hey, look out, there's a big one coming. If you don't turn around, it's going to knock you right on your, it's going to knock you right flat on the ground. Now, on the other hand, if I say, hey, there's a big one coming, what can you do? You can turn around, you can run out, you can get on top of it, and you can roll with it, you can fly with it, you can stand on top of it, you can roar with it, you can have fun with it, you can enjoy it, you can be part of it. But if you turn your back to it, it's going to clobber you. And I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something right now. I was looking at, I don't know what I did with it. I showed Joan. But there is in this Webster CD-ROM dictionary, I looked at the word New Age. And one of the things that it said is interesting. It said that all of the major corporations of the world are using New Age philosophies to downsize, consolidate, and that's the impact, that's what you're seeing on this earth. I mean, the revolution that's going on in corporations and businesses and world affairs and governments is all part of this. And right in the middle of this thing, Uranus comes chugging in, spinning in an opposite direction of all of the other planets, raising hell all over the place, between storms and earthquakes and all of the, changing the minds and upheavals of people. And in the middle of this, behold, heavens open, and the white horse Pegasus returns. And for the first time in the history of the world, the second coming of the sun star. Right where it should be, of the white horse. And now, For the first time in the history of the world, the second coming of the sun star in Virgo, born of a virgin, and now in Ursa Major. The power of the Virgin. Yeah, that's not bad. That's pretty good. That's pretty exciting. If I can't get you to meditate because of that, then just forget it. Forget it. Just stand and watch the sand and you'll get hit in the head with a wave. Because that's what's going to happen. All these people out here and all over the world, you know what they're going to do? They're going to get hit in the head. And they're going to say, why did God let this happen? Why did God let you get hit in the head with the wave? Because you didn't listen to the guy that said, hey, look out, there's a big one coming. You didn't turn around. You said, the hell with you. I don't look, my church doesn't allow me to look around. No, I'm not going to look. I don't believe in February. Well, that made a difference. It's coming anyhow, isn't it? If we don't believe in it, it's here. You wrap your bikini in February and you'll find out how true February is. And it's the same thing. If you go out in the middle of this Aquarian revolution and you don't know what's going on, you're going to get clobbered. Not because God is doing anything. It's a season of the universe. You have 12 months of the year. Each of them are different. You can't wear your bikini in February or you'll get hurt. You'll freeze to death. So what do? You flow with it. You understand it. You dress accordingly. You live accordingly. You cannot work and do things in this age of Aquarius with Uranus and all this like you did it in the other ages. It won't work. You're going to get clobbered. So you have to understand it. You have to start to flow with it. And you have to start to roll with it. Okay? Now, see the big bear? I want you to look at the very end of the tail of the big bear. At the very end of the tail of the big bear is a star called Benat Nash. We may be pronouncing it wrong, but so what? Benat Nash. Okay, do you see it? All right. That star, Benat Nash, means daughter of the assembly. That's what it means. Now I want you to look up into the right front paw of the big bear. Do you see the word? Talitha. Means maiden. Female. Okay? And this is another reason why the second coming of the sun star, the Jesus, the Christ, is in the big bear. The assembly is, which it'll be portrayed in the book, the Bible, is religion. The daughter is the desires of spirit. Female is spirit. Ready? Let's go. Open up to page 814. On page 814, look at the book of Mark. Mark chapter 5. I want you to look at verse 22. You ready? And behold, there comes one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name. Jairus is a ruler of the synagogue, and the synagogue at that time was also known as the assembly. He is one of the rulers of the assembly, and he says to Jesus, my little daughter lies at the point of death. I pray you come and lay hands on her. My little daughter lies at the point of death. Has nothing to do, it didn't really happen. That's not what it says. He's not told, it has nothing to do with Jairus, has nothing to do with his little daughter, has nothing to do with something you're reading in a book, it has to do with your head. And it's talking about those who are important in church, those who are important in religion, find that their spirit is dying. My spirit is at the point of death. I'm dying. I don't know what the heck's going on. I don't have any life. All I know is a bunch of stuff. But you've got to let the energy touch my spirit. So you see the daughter of the assembly in the rear tail of the bear Ursa Major, where this third sun star has appeared. Okay, you're on Mark 5:22. Look at the verse in Mark 5. Where am I here? Look at verse 41. And Jesus goes into the house, took the damsel by the hand, and said to her, what did he say to her? What did he say to her? Talitha! arise. Spirit, rise up. Spirit, rise up. Spirit, rise up and be healed. And the sun star has appeared in the sign of Talitha.
Wow.
This issue's 12. That's interesting.
What else can I say? And don't forget, what you're reading was written by the Greeks who knew the stars and who told you what was going to happen. What? Were they great religious oracles? They were astronomers. They knew the season of the universe. And they knew what the season of the universe would do to the season of the soul. And so it appeared in Pegasus because they said, he comes on a white horse. It appeared in Virgo because they said he is born of a virgin. It appears in Ursa Major, which is the power of the virgin consciousness to destroy the animal instincts of the mind. And it is the point where that is rescued and saved out of the religious beliefs, as Jesus said to Jairus, Talitha cumi, and the star in the right front paw, which now is next to the sun star, which is the Christ. It says Talitha. There are three, aren't there? There's Pegasus, Virgo, Ursa Major. There are three. And the three are one. They are the sun star. They are the Christ. They are the second coming. And my friends, I am not talking about something you should believe in. You don't have to believe it. It's there. It doesn't require your belief. It doesn't ask for you. I am not telling you something to have faith in. It does not require faith. All you have to do is turn your head and look up. And if you can't, you come and read. Read. Read from the astronomers. It's in Virgo and it's in Ursa Major, a star within the Big Dipper. And you know what it's also telling you? It is telling you, take that Big Dipper and dip it into the water of the man who is carrying the pitcher, who is Aquarius. And all of these ones. Do you know what you know? I'll tell you something. What is there in here? 40 people? 44, 50 people? Do you know what you know? Do you know that what you know something, and I'm told you something that I know, and I haven't even told you a fraction of what I know, but I have told you this of what I know, and you're the only ones that know this? Do you know that? And do you know these wonderful astronomers who are finding all of this stuff haven't a clue?
No.
And do you know all of the people who warned you to stay away from this stuff? How else could, if you are living on a star, and you're floating through the universe amid galaxies and black holes and constellations and all of this stuff, and you think, don't look at it. Don't pay any attention. It doesn't exist. We have nothing to do with that. We have nothing to do with that.
It's evil.
That's right. It's raining out. We have nothing to do with that. So, just understanding. Flow with it. The animals flow with it. The whales and the great dolphins and all of the wonders of energy of life flows with this stuff. And all of it is here. And look, this is the first time in the history of the world that this has happened. It has never been seen before in the history of the planet Earth. And where are you hearing about it? In the church, in the Crystal Cathedral, in St. Patrick's Cathedral. No, you're hearing about it on CNN with astronomers and astrologers telling you all about it. Because it's for everybody. So now what are you going to do with it? One thing you should do with it after you've sat through this is when you turn the television on, you should be alert to everything you see in the papers. You should be alert to everything you hear on the television. And you should just follow this. Because this is just the beginning. This is nothing compared to what you're going to see. I told you 96 going to be a bizarre year. You're not even going to recognize anything at the end of this year. Because it means number 7. 1996 equals 25. 2 plus 5 equals 7. It means divine intervention. Oh, is there going to be divine intervention? Yes, there is. Right on the white horse, right through the virgin, right through the bear. Talitha, rise. What's it talking about? The sign Pegasus means the power has arrived, and through the virgin mind, it will cause your spirit, Talitha, to rise up And it calls you, and you'll see all kinds of stuff. You'll see all kinds of these healings that these people have said they saw, but they never have seen. You'll see magnificent ones. And next year, 1997, add it up, 26, it means 8, it means rupture, and you're going to see a breakup of all of the traditional things that you felt were so important. You're going to see religions go crazy all over the place. And the next year, 1998, is 27 equals 9. Stand with me. One day, look out your back window. You'll see something. This isn't hocus pocus. You know, there's a lot of people in New Age that don't even want to see this because they can't sell books. They won't be able to sell books anymore. They won't be able to sell tapes anymore. This is all real. There's nothing to do with that. This is real. You don't even have to meditate. See, this is coming whether you meditate or not. But the point is, if you meditate, you'll get into a harmony with it, and you'll focus, and you know what happens? Your little antenna inside will swing from the left to the right by the power of your meditation, and it will come up, and you'll touch your finger just like little E.T., and when you touch it, you'll know the word home, 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 and you'll have heard from home. That's why it is so critically important that you give your time over to meditation now, that you start to get into a harmony with this magnificent, this wonder, this power. And as I said, thank God I don't have to depend on Bibles, and I don't have to depend on religious people to document what I'm telling you. I'm telling you to come up and take this stuff, and it's in the newspapers, it's in Newsweek magazine, it's in books on astronomy, it's all over the place. You read the Bible, you saw the words, you saw the names of the stars, and I've gone over to you today the scriptures and what they've said, and I've left it. Hey, I've left it with you. And in 2 weeks, we're going to start a 4-week series on Pegasus. And I'm sure there are going to be people here that have never been here before, and they're just going to come out of curiosity. And those why that you who are hardcore, if you would, and who are willing to stand up and put your arm around somebody and start sharing with them, you should be able to explain to people, especially those of you who have been coming here a while, you should be in a position now to start explaining to people what's going on. And it's not something they have to wait for. Remember, this name Pegasus means swiftly coming. And in the Virgin, remember, it's coming down, swiftly coming down. And I tried to tape this astronomer who was on CNN the other night talking about this New Age. And he was from some university. And he's a young guy. He says, you know, I couldn't have picked a better time. He said, this age, he says, it's just, he said, but I never, he says, all of us, all over the world, we're communicating with one another. We said, this is so fast, we never conceived that this could happen this fast. And if you think that you've been waiting a long time, your wait is over. Your wait is over. And I will be glad when they finally walk through that door and I can introduce you to them. And one day I will. But now is not the time to talk of such things. Okay, thank you very much for sharing this time. What happened to Exodus? We exited from the Exodus and we went on to something else. Some things take precedence, and this does. But we'll get to Exodus another time and another day. Now I got to figure out how we're going to do this, because next week I have the last thing of Exodus and I missed this one. Maybe I'll change that. Yeah. Okay, that screws up my calendar and the computer and everything. Go, berserk with this, but I know. Get with it now.